I'm Ryan Cole. As you guys know, I don't know that anyone's watching. It just might be me, you, and or me, Sammy, and Thom right now. But we are rolling live, trying to get an update. Um, yeah, we are 110% live right now. I'm watching on my Facebook feed. We're rolling. Share it if you got Thom. If you can share in a group, watch together. I'm just clicking a couple buttons so we get things rolling. Okay, perfect. All right. So this is new to me. I think new to Thom, new to Sammy. Sammy's a guest on the Ryan and Thom show, so welcome anyone that's on here yet. It may be the Ryan, Sammy, and Thom show before you know it. You never know. Man, we got 2 viewers. Welcome in, welcome in. So just so everyone knows what we do, honestly, this COVID virus, COVID-19 is kind of taking a toll on everybody. I'm laid off, just like in the previous video we posted on YouTube yesterday. Thom is still working, and Sammy? I think you are working part time right now, possibly going back to full. You said
20 hours a week right now, at least until they're doing some testing on hyperbaric oxygen and the effects. So
right.
I don't know if you guys lost me already, but that would be cool if you didn't.
No, you're good.
No,
I
you're
put it
still here,
onto a
baby.
solo mode right there, just so I can put it when you're talking just to you. That way, it's on and off, bounce back and forth. So yeah, I'm working. Sammy's working part time.
Did you
Thom,
guys see me before or no?
yeah, you're all good.
Okay.
You're good. Anyone that's in here right now that has any questions or anything like that, don't hesitate to write a comment. We will be able to respond, answer any questions you guys have. So, yeah, again, this is the COVID-19 Sports Talk Radio presented to you, coming live from Beulah. Thom's coming from Geneva. Sammy's coming from the east side of Beulah. We just like to talk about what's going on in the world with COVID-19 in Ashtabula County. It seems like we kind of get put in the dumpster, furthest northeast county. Just talk about what's going on, why it's doing it, how it's doing it. I gotta quit saying my wife yelled at me yesterday, but so that, and then we get into some Cleveland sports, and then I want to talk about everyone's Easter Sunday, see how that went for everybody, and go from there. So there's the again. I did it one more time. COVID-19 updates. Sammy is in the medical profession, so I'm going to let him kind of take the floor. And do you know anything that's going on right now? Anything new for Ashtabula County? I did not see Casey Kozlowski broadcast anything today. He's usually on there putting something, but I did not notice anything. Anything on your front over there on the east side, Sammy?
No, I mean, other than being over the weekend, I haven't really heard anything. So
right,
nothing new
right.
nothing new that I haven't read, on Facebook or on these other pages.
Okay, Thom, you got anything on your side?
Kind of a little bit. I read something interesting today that I think
got no
is
sound from
kind
Thom.
of imperative to
I can hear him on my end, Sammy.
bring up. Obviously we have an epidemic going on right now with the COVID-19, but Ashtabula especially has been hit hard the past. I mean, for a long time by the methamphetamine and fentanyl epidemics. I read a very interesting article today that due to COVID-19's presence in the United States, it's been harder for China, who's one of the main exporters of fentanyl, to get it to Mexico. So the import export of fentanyl and methamphetamine to the United States has been slowed because of the COVID-19. I think that's really interesting. It's something that's really good to note. Just because, like I said, Ashtabula has been hit hard with that for quite a while now, and I think that something that's kind of like we talked about yesterday, Ryan. Like some things have been positively affected by COVID. I think that's a positive because those drugs and those things aren't going to be as present in our county now because of COVID-19.
Right. I did notice. Sammy, can you hear me on your end?
Yeah, I can hear you. I cannot hear Thom.
Let's see, solo off, solo off. I mean, I can hear Tom on my end. Of course, that's the way it is. You heard him before, though, correct?
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
weird.
Let's see.
Did you change the way that this thing is running? Is it like active speaker or something like that?
No, it's all back to normal. All I was doing when I bounced back and forth is just like when Tom was talking, I put it on here just to
Yep,
main
I just
screen
lost
it.
your sound now.
Right. So let me go back to this. Can you hear me again now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Tom,
What
say
about
something.
me? Sammy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
But you know what's funny is I can only see Tom now.
Oh, really?
Hey, buddy.
Yeah.
So you might want to refresh. We got to get you set up, but you want to try to refresh and jump back in, Sammy?
Yeah, let me come back. I'll
Okay,
walk back out.
we'll update you. So as an update today, Ashtabula County is up to 26 confirmed cases, and like I had said, I think it was yesterday. There was the one, and then also my grandmother who passed. It is being recorded. That it is at 2 deaths, 26 confirmed. In the state of Ohio, we did go up to 6,518 with 248 deaths. And one unfortunate statistic that I'm seeing on here that there's it's not showing anything recovered, as in the United States itself has over 33,000 that are recovered. And then at that point, there's nothing in Ohio. So definitely an interesting fact there. But I guess 33,000 recovered, 6,000 cases. That's whatever, 20%. But yeah, that goes from there. So without saying, let's see if we can get Sammy back in here in a couple minutes and go from there. Any viewers have any questions or anything what we're trying to accomplish? I see we're up to 8 over there on Facebook. Don't hesitate to put a question out there, anything of that nature. We're going to sit here for a second and see if we can get Sammy back in.
Got that. I think it's I think this whole format that we're running right now is going to be very beneficial as this grows for interaction, especially once we get past this pandemic. It's going to be something I think that's good for building community. As we noted yesterday, we're starting to notice community coming together in a big way. Um, you know, as we recover, I think you're going to see a lot more community based things going on, and
Sure.
I think that stuff like this is going to be a step in a big direction to kind of link people.
Right. Yeah, let's see if we can get Sammy back, and then we'll continue
sure.
on with a few things. I don't know. Did you notice today on I think it was NBC or ABC, one of those, they were broadcasting 2016 NBA Finals again. The Cavs run to the championship. That was pretty cool.
No, I I was watching last year's Masters today, man. I was
Did you?
yeah, I was in golf mode all day. This is Easter Sunday is always a big golf day for me. Physically and watching wise. Masters has always been a big thing for my dad and I the past couple of years. Kind of bonded over golf, and I think that it kind of left like a little bit of a void in what was going on today. It kind of took away a little bit. But I mean, just watching Tiger win it again, I mean, that was super cool. I don't think we're ever going to see another golfer like Tiger Woods. Just the prolific effect he had on the game lifetime.
Sure.
And man, while the NBA Finals with the Cavs and the Warriors coming back from that 3-1 deficit, man, that was huge. I don't think anything's ever going to touch Tiger winning that Masters in 2019 after slipping into what he slipped into for all those years after the unfortunate events that transpired in his life.
Right.
So watching that again was just, man, it brought back a flood of memories from last year, man.
Yeah. It looks like Sammy might be coming back. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch that. Let's see. get him back. Continue the show. Thank you guys, everyone that's on here. I think it's we got 16 viewers right now. Which,
hey, Julius, what's up, man?
Yeah. That's more people than you're allowed to be around. So
Yeah,
I mean, we're all kicking it together, enjoying the COVID. Oh, we're down to 14. What happened now?
You called it out, man.
Mm-hmm. What advice do you have to convince my girlfriend to let me play COD? I love it. Go ahead.
You just got to assert your dominance, man. You just got to go in there and you got to tell her, listen, baby, I work hard. Relationships built on give and take. Right now, I'm trying to take time away from our relationship to go play Call of Duty. But, I'm going to give more into our relationship. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. That was kind of, you kind of got me stumped there. I don't really have that problem.
And just so all the viewers know, the only why he's saying that is probably because Megan's not watching or listening at all.
Oh, dude, she can't hear me. She's downstairs.
Yeah. If she was there, he would just say, just give in. It's not worth it.
Yeah. She'd be sitting next to me right now and she just punched me.
Yeah. So one thing I don't know if Sam's coming back. Hopefully he is, but we're gonna find out. Browns' new uniforms. They haven't been unveiled yet. But did you see the new? Somebody they posted a Twitter release of a little bit. They're going back. It looks like a little bit on the old school side, which is kind of fun to see. I got a Andre Full Moon Rising jersey down in the basement that I could rock again. So that one's back from the early '90s. It was my old man's, but
yeah. I haven't really seen anything. I saw that teaser. And I mean, just going off that, I kind of want to give a shout out to guys like on the internet, like on Reddit and stuff. Those guys are geniuses, man. They took some screen grabs and they took the gradient out, kind of adjusted the hue and the saturation, and kind of gave you just like a little like sort of tease on what it might look like. From what they were saying, those numbers are going to go back to being kind of the way that they were. You're going to have the stripes on the arms. Oh, wrong way. Stripes on the arms again, which I think was a huge part of the Browns jerseys for me growing up. And the helmet's going to have wider stripe on the top.
Right.
I mean, the biggest thing though, you can look fly, you can look good, but you got to play good. I mean, I think that's indicative of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They look good, but they don't necessarily play well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, I know it's kind of controversial, but their jerseys, like, it's like a lot of people don't like their jerseys, but I personally do. Like the ones that before they unveiled the new ones, those new ones are sweet. Kind of going back to like that 90s type feel. But I think you can look cool, but you got to play good. And like we talked about last night, they look to be on the right track.
Yeah, that's for sure. I just want to say hi to everybody that's out there. I think we got 11 viewing. What we're doing here, just a quick update, since we're at, I think, about 10 minutes into the show. We like to get on here every once in a while and just talk about what's going on in Ashtabula County. No one really ever talks about what's going on with the COVID-19 here. We just went through a few different things, 26 illnesses, 2 deaths, if I recall. I have to get the statistics up again.
Yeah.
And just, what's going on. One day, hopefully, maybe we'll get Casey Kozlowski on here and just have a little podcast with him or whatever you want to call this, Facebook Live, and let him put his input, what's going on. Sammy keeps trying to get in there, but it ain't working too well. Win or lose, Browns for life. That's right, Ricky. So,
gotta love them.
Yeah. So, Cleveland sports, new uniforms. There's not a whole lot of sports to talk about at the moment, other than the old school stuff that we've been just ran through a little bit. Let's see. There's Sammy. Yeah, he's back live.
Get on in here, Sammy. Get you some, boy.
I'm trying to get him up there, but it ain't working.
One thing too, kind of going off of what we were talking about with COVID. And I think it's funny because a lot of these people that are doing that, like not taking this seriously, you're going to see those same people in June, July. Oh my God, this is still going on. My summer's ruined. Well, if you guys would have just listened and followed what was put in place, or respected the rules a little bit more, we wouldn't be in this situation. So take the loss now, so you can reap a good summer and continue to live your life down the road. This isn't something that we can just like say, nah, it don't exist. We got to respect what's going on, and we got to kind of put our lives on hold a little bit in some certain ways so that we can live our lives fully down the road. I'd rather put it on hold a little right now so I can live a full life down the road.
Sure. Hey, one question, a good one for Sammy, with him being in the medical profession. We discussed this, yesterday? I think it was. I keep seeing on Facebook on how people are saying that the corona epidemic is not equivalent to what the flu is that we deal with every year. Can you shed some light in your medical opinion on how people can that may be overseen a little bit? Is it kind of go from there?
Yeah. So the first thing is, the flu is a virus, but it's caused by it's the family of viruses, influenza viruses. Okay, and the coronavirus is a completely different family of viruses. So what the primary concern here is how quickly and the number of people you're going to infect. So with the flu, if you are sick, you are likely to infect like two people, and then those two people are going to infect two people. With this coronavirus, the number that you yourself, the original person, is going to infect is between 4 and 6. So you can understand how in a
Sure.
very small amount of time it gets out of hand. So for all these people who are, they have these super immune systems and they can go out and they're not worried about getting sick or whatever. Like Tom said, when we are still dealing with this in October, that's when it's really going to land with people, because it's not going away anytime soon.
Right. Yeah.
Like
It's
this
it's
is
it's and that's what I'm getting out of it myself, is personally.
I think that this is going to be something that is going to require a vaccination. It's not going to be if you want it. It's going to be like the flu is at the hospital I work at. You have to get the vaccine or you don't work here. Or, you got to get your
See, I did
MMR
not know
before.
that. I knew that you had to get vaccines, but I didn't know it was mandated by a hospital. I'm sure that's in. I mean, if it's at a hospital, I'd imagine it's in every medical profession.
Yeah,
So,
that's within the last like 5 or 6 years. But you know what I mean? Think about when we went into junior high. We had to get like 5 or 6 vaccines because that's just how it is. So this I think is going to fall under that. Now granted, they're always going to be playing catch up because it keeps mutating, and that's the scary part of it right now is it's mutating already. And the people who have had the original strain got it, have gotten better, are getting reinfected.
oh, okay. Now, one thing I think myself personally, I don't have any proof, any way, shape, or form of that, but I'm mid January into February, I was sick, like probably the worst sickness I've ever had. My opinion says that I already had the virus once. Obviously, there's no way to say that I did. I've never hacked up the green stuff in my life that I've ever hacked up before. So it's definitely an interesting, perspective to think that this has been out, since probably November of last year,
Well,
and we've been kind of just floating around like no big deal.
there are sources, there's conflicting stories out there that China knew about this since like August. And
Oh, really?
yeah, this year I was on the same boat. I got the worst sickness of my life in November. Like I
Yeah, I think.
don't get sick, and I like sick to the point where I had to not go to work. Like had to take
Okay.
half days at
Damn.
work. That's just not what I do.
Right.
Oh, for
So,
sure.
and my neighbor 2 houses down, it literally, and they're young. He's in his mid to late 30s and she is in her late 20s, and they got the flu that they got or whatever, you know what I mean? The illness that they got knocked them down for like a week.
It's wild.
So
Wild.
like I think it's been going on for a long time. I think we were just playing catch up. and that's the problem. I think they figured out, like, oh man, because and that's something that happens in medicine. I think is a lot of times you want to look for the horse, not the zebra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if somebody comes in and they're like, oh, my throat hurts, my body hurts, da 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 da, they're like, all right, well, it's just the flu. It's just the flu. Nobody ever
Yeah.
wants to think like, oh, you've got this brand new virus that if we don't put you in quarantine, it's going to cause the nation to shut down. Because if we thought like that, the nation would be shut down all the time.
Oh no, for
Sure,
sure. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we'd be down. I mean, no one would
Absolutely.
ever work, and yeah, that's for sure.
All these will be put in place, and our lives would literally be on hold for just the smallest body ache. You know.
But
Now,
you know what? Like I think that's where we're at already. Like, and maybe it's alarmist or whatever you want to say, but think about the next time you're going to be comfortable being, elbow to elbow with people. When's the next time
right,
Oh,
you're
for
going to be
sure.
comfortable with that? Because it's not going to be anytime soon. I'm going
right.
to tell you this: the first Browns game you go to, I promise you, regardless of how much alcohol you partake in, the first
Ooh.
time somebody sneezes next to you, there's going to be a light that goes off in your head.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. I mean, how many times? I don't
Oh
know how many
shit.
times you
Yeah.
guys went to the store the past week, but I can't. I look at people and I do everything in my power to stay at least 6 feet away. If I can be further away, I go that route. I don't just stay, But that's the interesting part of the whole
Oh,
situation. You can't go
overwhelming.
anywhere. And then, like, I was in myself was personally in Walmart today. I probably shouldn't have, but I needed to get a few things for today. But the amount of people that were in there is alarming, you know. And obviously, Easter Sunday, people need last minute things. But the simple fact is, you're not supposed to be have a gathering over 10. And I'll bet half of Ashtabula County, I'll bet they had a gathering over 10.
Oh
They
yeah.
just went on with like, my neighbor over here, as great person and everything, but there was 8 cars in the parking lot.
But
Even assuming 2 people a car, there's still 16 people over there.
I like to think it's two-step thinking. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
for people to follow these rules, you can't just think about how the virus is going to affect you, but you got to think about there has to be somebody in your life that you care about that could be
Sure.
affected for
Mhm.
people to even take care of this. So, like myself, I've got an immunocompromised father, and I've got a baby that, if you don't keep your floors immaculately clean, is going to eat everything she finds.
Right.
So those two are in the back of my head. I don't want to go out and do that. You know what I mean? But there's a
Yeah.
lot of these kids, and I say kids because we were that way too. Because I will tell you, if this happened in the year 2006, we would probably be the people are complaining about because we would be out in the woods, still going, Corona can't get us. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah, for real. For real.
100%, man.
Hey, just a
But I
quick
also
update
think that's
before we go on. Real quick, 1 second. Let me interrupt the thumb. We got 14 people. I just want to say hi to everyone. Want to let everyone know kind of what our goal is, and it's just to talk about right now. Obviously, the big topic is COVID-19. What's going on in Ashtabula County? Just thoughts and opinions is really what it is, and we're going to transition into a little bit of sports talk and how everyone's Easter went. We thoroughly enjoy questions, anything like that. So if everyone has questions or they want to put a comment out there, there's nothing that needs to be held back. It is, I consider it a child-friendly program. No one's going to swear or anything like that. But go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I wanted to
no, it's
say
cool.
thanks, Jay, Jason, Bowles for joining. Jay, Sue, Haley, Michelle, Sam, you joined, which is funny. But and Brendan, what's up, man? How you guys doing? Questions, concerns, if you want to chime in, don't hesitate. But go ahead, Tom.
All right, so kind of piggyback off of what Sammy said just now, like we would absolutely be those kids in that woods. Corona can't get us. But I also think that's kind of generational thinking, like kind of where you're at in your point of life. When we were 16, 17 years old, you had that feeling like nothing can hurt you because you don't have real world responsibilities yet. Sammy, you just had a baby. You have an immunocompromised father. Ryan, you have an immunocompromised wife. I
Right.
have an immunocompromised mother, and I have a son who's developmentally disabled. Like, I mean, he can't tell me if he's not feeling good. It's kind of a guessing game. So, now we're more cognizant because we have things that we can lose. So, I mean, I don't think you can fault these kids and stuff like that for thinking in that way because, like, they don't have anything to lose at this point. They don't understand the repercussions like we do because we've gone through loss. We've gone through, things that have changed in our lives so rapidly by the time from like the time you're in college, and then like, you find someone, you fall in love, you get married, your parents get older, that kind of thing. And it's not to excuse the behavior whatsoever, because and I'm not doing that with those younger kids. But what I'm saying is I think it's more you have to touch them. You kind of have to make them understand. Like at the dealership I work at, like we have two young kids. They're porters. They clean the cars. They're there every day now because school's out. And these kids, came in with that attitude of like joking about stuff and everything. And now these kids are so cognizant of everything that's going on. They're making sure everything's wiped down. They're making sure everything's running well. And I really want to thank them for what they do for us, because like, I don't think at 17 and 18, I would have had that capacity, you know what I mean, to really understand that. And I really think that you're seeing now these kids that do understand it are really trying to make a change and affecting change in their generation. And I think it's really nice to see. And it's sad that it's taken something like this to enact that type of change.
Yeah, I want to say real quick, Sam, I just want to say Jason Bowles commented on here. He's been staying home, and I want to say thank you. I know we're all not exactly doing the right thing, but just like everyone talks about, whether it's a celebrity or your mom or dad saying stay home if if you can, you don't have to do anything. I just want to say thank you for him to doing exactly what our U.S. government recommends. I can't say enough good about Mike DeWine, to be quite frank. I think he's really taking the bull by the horns and pushing it through. If he, I enjoy. I know he wasn't on the day, but every day at 2:00 he shows up on PBS. That's where I watch it. But he's always up to date, and I can't think of the medical professional's name that's on there that always
Amy Acton.
Amy Acton. How you doing,
Shout
Amy?
out to you, boo.
We need to get Amy on the show,
Well,
man.
no,
We need to get Amy on the show. So, but yeah, thanks again, Jason, for doing the right thing. We all know what's going on, and thank everyone that's watching too for if you have to go to work because that's what they say, and you can't get out of going to work. Thank you for doing everything you can to be as safe as you can.
So we got I see on here that Mallory Hatmaker joined. She's actually one of the frontline workers that was out there testing people. So real legit, thank you.
Thank you, Mallory.
That's a tough job.
Big Absolutely. Up. I know you haven't really heard of the show, but this is the right now it's the Ryan and Thom show. It's about COVID-19 and some sports talk. Obviously, not a lot of sports talk going on right now, but we're going to get into there. But the big agenda right now is really the COVID-19, and anyone that's listening that has any they want to kind of chime in and let us know what they know about what's going on in Ashtabula. St. John just opened up to be able to host for non-COVID-19 patients. Just so you guys know that, make sure you read that correctly. It's kind of inconspicuous, but the COVID-19 patients won't be at St. John High School or K through 12. It's for the Overflow Center. So big up to St. John on that too. So
we touched on that last night.
Yeah. Well, I want to real quick just say so you were talking about DeWine and Amy Acton. And historically, everybody, everybody likes to joke about Ohio and how bad it is and where we're from. And, we're always behind and stuff like this. It's really a breath of fresh air how forward thinking we've really been here. And hitting this nail on the head. You take this, it's a stark contrast to Florida. who you think about it, they really just ignored this to the point of, you want to talk about primary offenders who are going to stretch out this pandemic, that stretch out this shutdown, because that's where, like we talked about, 18-year-olds, if you give them the shot to be together, they're going to be together. That's where the leadership has to come, and you have to shut that stuff down. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think they realized financially what it was going to cost, but I don't think they thought about what financially it's going to cost down the road.
Sure.
When people can't
absolutely
get
right,
100%.
Yeah, and thanks, Brendan Palm, Ricky Hernandez, Marlon Yop, and Jay Sue for hanging out with us. It does show we have seven viewers, but I'm only seeing those 4. Don't hesitate to share this with your friends and family. We want them to be part of this conversation too. This is not something in between, or we're limiting. If you ever want to join our show, we haven't determined if it's going to be every other night, every 3 nights, every night. I don't know, but if you ever want to join and hop in on the cast. Don't hesitate to just send me an email, ryan.scott.cole1@gmail.com. I'd love to get you in there, just talk about what's going on. So anything else you guys want to touch on that COVID-19? We're rolling 30 minutes into the show, and we still got to get into some sports and a little bit of Easter. So you guys finish up. I'm going to grab another beer.
No, I mean, that's like I said, I think Ohio is, I have a legitimate sense of pride for the way it's going here.
100%.
I mean,
100.
You look at the states that ignored it are getting smoked. We had look at New York. New York is actually getting destroyed, and then you get to see these caravans of ambulance. And how about those people? Like they are putting themselves in the heart of the fire to go out there and treat these sick people with mind you, without ideal personal protective equipment.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? They're giving them surgical masks. Those N95s are still incredibly hard to come by.
Oh yeah. Like we talked about yesterday a little bit, Sam. I know you said you watched a little bit. I think that we're seeing a lot of selfless acts right now, and like you said, these people are putting themselves right in the fire with like less than ideal protection and such. And I really think that speaks to who we have in our medical profession right now. I can't think of a time when I've seen so much selflessness and so much sense of trying to improve a community or improve a situation than I've seen right now. And like I said earlier, it's sad that it took something like this to create that sense of urgency, to give back and to create that sense of community. But I don't think, honestly, from what I've seen and people's reactions and their attitudes toward this, I don't think that that's going to stop after this is all done. Because the thing is, this will end. That's the thing. Like, no matter what, this is going to end. But I don't think that this sense of community and this sense of giving back is going to end, because I think we finally realized and we've seen the value of that.
Real quick, I'm going to interrupt you just real quick because Ricky Hernandez had a good question that I'd love to hear, comment what you guys think, your opinion. And it is, what is your guess as to when the stay-at-home act, I won't repeat the next word, but act, the shutdown will end. He states he would prefer it to last as long as possible so no more people get sick. What do you guys think? So your guys' opinion on going forward, how long this is going to go, and get some opinions. And anyone out there in the interweb listening to us, if you got an opinion, don't hesitate to join in. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining.
I am going to throw something controversial out. I would prefer this to last through New Year's.
Wow.
And the reason I say that is because right now we're coming into the thick of it where Easter just ended. You got a couple big holidays a little bit farther away. You've got 4th of July, you've got Halloween, you've got Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, right? So this doesn't end. People are not gonna, if this is going on, you will still see people going Thanksgiving, Christmas. Kids are going to be out on Halloween. You can't tell me in a big city they're going to keep 6 feet away. I would prefer us to stay at home this whole time. I'd rather stop living for a little bit, like my life, to be able to live a long time. So you know what? Develop your vaccine, develop more things to put in place, develop more infrastructure, do whatever we have to do so that going forward, we don't have to deal with this on as big a scale as we have this year. And if it takes through the new year, I'm cool with that. I'll give up golf outings. That's fine. I mean, it'll hurt. I'll cry inside every night on Sundays in the summertime. I really will. I'm emotional. I cry. But, I'll give that up, man. because I want a world where my future children don't have to worry about this and my current child doesn't have to worry about this. And like we talked about yesterday, Ryan, we've seen less pollution. We've seen the canals clear up in Italy. Imagine if it's a nationwide stay at home type thing through the end of the year. Imagine how much better everything will get for our environment in that time too. I mean, it's a twofold type thing, and maybe I'm optimistic, maybe I'm being a little ridiculous, but I mean, it's just kind of how I feel. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not the type of person to push my views on anyone. You know what I mean? So I can see any hat, I can see any type, as long as you don't say tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think.
Hey, real quick before you go, Sam, I just want to say hi to Julio and Mel. We just had Amanda join and Mike. Just real quick, so you guys know what's going on. We're just doing I'm calling it a podcast, but a live stream through Facebook, just to say, really talk about the COVID virus in Ashtabula, what people's opinions are, our personal opinions here. I'm Ryan Cole. We got Tom Roth in the middle, and then Sam Torres on the end. Anyone's personal opinion, what's going on. If they want to chime in, join in, they're always welcome to. I can get you right on the show with us, no big deal. But from there, please ask questions, or if you have any comments, I want to share it with the world. So, and Ricky, thanks for correcting the swear word you had on there. Appreciate that.
This is PG, Rick.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it if you got the kids, because we don't know when we're ever going to come on live. So, but go ahead, Sam. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's good. I was just gonna say, so stay at home timeline that I see going on. I think we're going to loosen the restrictions toward the middle of June. I think that's going to be too fast. I think what you're going to see is they're going to get loosened around the middle of June. I think a week or two after July 4th, you're going to see a spike happen again, and which is going to lead to the tightened restrictions again, probably through Christmas or New Year's. Because the problem is during that time period is you have flu season that starts again. So you're going to have a lot of people who are going to show respiratory type symptoms, and there's going to be a lot of false positives. There's going to be a lot of false negatives out there. So it's going to cause this whole other, and like the national guy, Trump's doctor guy.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He said
I'll get it for you.
He said that this could be seasonal.
Fossey,
yeah. He said that this could be seasonal. So, like I said, I really firmly believe that we're going to stick this through until about mid-June. It's going to pop up again. We're going to have strict restrictions again, probably through November, maybe even through Christmas. And then you're going to have a vaccine that's mandatory.
As it should be.
You got to have some. Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion, just real quick, definitely extending it out as long as it needs to go. Obviously, no one knows the need. Only the medical professionals, and I'm sure there's a few select, maybe, I don't know, 1%ers, whatever you may want to call them in the world, that know the actual possible outcome of this compared to what we have. So, but yeah, just keep moving forward. Keep everyone healthy as long as you can. I mean, I'm 33. And like I said earlier in the show, Thom and Sammy know, my grandmother passed away at the age of 84, and she was the first one in Ashtabula County that passed away from the COVID virus. So it really hit home like that this is, this stuff's real. It's not just a joke. But don't get me wrong, she had a lot of underlying conditions. At the age of 84, she had some heart problems, some some other health problems. So, but let's
real quick,
yeah, go
quick,
ahead.
I want to.
Hey, Mike Benedict. Hey, Ken Copeland.
We've been hearing about like the NBA players, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, Christian Wood, those guys, the two mystery Lakers players that got infected. But I think the one thing, I'm a real big hip hop fan. And I know Fred the Godson and Scarface, legendary rapper, those guys right now are battling coronavirus. And I think it's crazy because I think in this time, a lot of people kind of revere celebrities, athletes, musicians, that kind of thing as invincible because that's how they're kind of portrayed in the media. But it's like, if these guys are getting it and they got millions of dollars and they're still suffering from it, I think that kind of speaks to just how this virus doesn't discriminate, and it doesn't discriminate on how it's going to infect you, how it's going to treat you. And it really just brings forth the fact that we're all human. We're all susceptible. No matter how young you are, no matter how healthy you are, no matter the amount of money you have, none of that matters right now. It just matters that, we care about each other and we care about, making sure that we're all okay. And I just want to throw it out there because I've been seeing that, and it kind of bothered me when I saw Scarface got infected, because that dude's a tough dude, and that was nuts. So just a little anecdote. Sorry about that.
No, you're all right.
I'll tell you what, like, nothing scares me more than seeing somebody with a lot of money die for something like this. Because the only thing that goes through my head is, if they can't afford to get well, I don't stand a shot.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can't do it. I definitely can't.
I'd like to real quick touch on what Sam Carkett said. He said, from what I'm seeing at work with customers right now, people cared the first couple weeks and stayed home, but now people are coming in on a normal basis as they were before. So yeah, I mean, that's 100% true. We know Sam works in the retail world, but he's 100% right. People, they freak out and then they get through it and they think it's okay and no big deal. And then moving on to Mel Torres, or Melody Torres, been like a mother to me since I was knee high to a grasshopper, if you want to call it that. My thoughts were, less hot. This is in regards to how long this ban, or how long staying home should be, if I recall right. But my thoughts are, we see less hospitalization, less sick. We need to not jump the gun. No international travel for a year then, which I totally can agree with that in every way, shape, or form. There's no reason, and then, before I skip through, but mandatory mask when in public. Also, it's airborne, therefore masks are necessity to reopen the public again slowly. And I think she's 100% right. Going through Walmart today, I know I shouldn't have been there, but I had some stuff to get. The amount of people in Walmart that didn't have a mask was amazing. I luck out. My mother works in the hospital field, and she's got all kinds of different stuff mask-wise, so I had some stuff. But the amount of people that are walking through without masks, you're just asking to poison the next person with this situation. And hey, Nick, thanks for joining the show. And real quick, even if we loosen the restrictions, I think people will still be hesitant to go to places with large gatherings until there's a vaccine. And this is kind of interesting because Sam and Mel are talking about, I should say Sam is talking about how we should, people are not really caring about what's going on, versus Nick is saying people are, kind of restricting themselves still. So it's kind of fun to see two different opinions where it takes us to. But it's an honest opinion. It's a great opinion. Right now in the state of Ohio, if you get married, you can't have any people, or you can't have any more than 10 people at your ceremony, including the bride and groom. Tomorrow at my grandmother's funeral, when we go, it's going to be, all the family can be there, but it's one family at a time. So meaning the Cole family will go in, my aunt's family, the other aunt, the uncle. You can only go in per family because they know that you've been around each other. So, but if you guys got comments on either Nick's post or Sam's post, go right ahead. Sorry to take over that like that.
No, it's good, man. Like, I think that these restrictions were well thought out. I think that everything. I think that what they've said to do makes sense. I don't think it's ridiculous. I don't think that it's anything that can't be handled. I don't think it's anything egregious. I mean, and some people treat it as such, but I mean, if you want this to stop, just follow the rules. It's like you learn in kindergarten. You know what I mean? Like, follow the rules and you won't get in trouble. There won't be consequences. Good things will happen. Like, I think it just behooves everyone to follow, just follow these rules, man. They're not hard. Like, it's not hard.
Well, I liken it to when you're a kid. When you're a kid, there's two types of people when they get in trouble.
Hi, Joe.
Okay? So there's two types of people when you get in trouble. The one kid that has to sit on the wall for 5 minutes, goes in there, stands on the wall for 5 minutes, does his time, and gets back out there to the playground. And then there's the other kid, who was probably me when I was a kid, that's always still trying to talk to people and have fun while still being on the wall. And then that 5 minutes ends up being 15 or 20.
Right.
So
Sure.
That's what we have going on here. Is we have a lot of responsible people, but we have a couple a small
handful.
or minority group that is going to be irresponsible. The problem is they're making it harder on everybody because they're going to carry this on. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I just wonder how far away we are right now from a dude like Elon Musk watching that I think it was Chris Pine Star Trek movie where like they go to that other world and they put that thing in their nose so they can breathe and all like the toxins get out of the air. How long before Elon Musk comes up with something like that? You
For
know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
For everything that's going on. I mean, honestly, it's like kind of egregious to think about, but at the same time, is it right now? You know what I mean? Like,
so one thing, Melody Torres brings up a good. And I don't know if this is true. I don't know if you can answer this, Sam. I don't think they haven't said there's a vaccine, but she states that I think before a vaccine, have your blood drawn to check if you have immunity to the virus. So, does anyone have immunity to it? Is that something that's out there right now? I haven't heard anything of it. And then many have already been exposed. You just did not get very sick, which they've talked about that numerous times about how many people, you just didn't get as sick as maybe the next person. But Mel, if you can comment real quick, if you can comment on whether or not, if you've heard that there is a certain blood type has immunity, that would be great, just so we can all become more educated.
That doesn't exist.
Okay.
So right now, one of the bigger problems with this virus, amongst others, is they don't really understand it yet. They don't know that, so they're still learning what antibodies are signaling the virus and all that good stuff like that. So, and it mutates. So there might be some people with immunity to strands, or nobody that they know yet.
Now let me ask you a question though, Sammy. Let me ask you a question right there, because you said like you like piggybacking off of what you just said, like they don't understand it yet. This has been around for a little bit now. Okay. Is it willful ignorance to not want to understand it?
No,
or is it just that crazy?
No. So as for the time that it's been around, this version of the novel coronavirus it's been around for a millisecond. Like it takes so long for these guys to break down this virus, and they have to look into the proteins and all the genetic and molecular makeup that makes up this virus and what makes it tick and how it's going to attack your immune system and how it's getting around the immune system hurdles that we have set up. They have to figure out where it's going to attach, how it's going to attach to cells, how it's injecting itself. All those things, they have to figure that out before they can even consider making it. You know what I mean? You can't fix something if you don't know how it's broken.
So, Melody on
really
here,
where it's at right now, but that takes months. Most of the time, it takes years for people to find breakthroughs. It's only during times like this where it's like people are dying. Think about like polio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The vaccine doesn't come around until a very large population is affected in a very big way. So that's what's going on here. It's just people aren't paying attention to it because it's a respiratory virus, and for some reason in our culture we look at respiratory viruses like they're not a big deal. People act like the flu isn't a big deal. The flu kills people too.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. So Mel on here, she said that they are giving blood to sick people now from people that have recovered. So that's definitely interesting. I'm sure it is a thought process that says maybe they have immunities within the body to push on through there, but I'm not a medical expert. And then Ken Copeland, thanks for joining the show, Ken. I've heard all over the media some people don't show symptoms at all. I honestly don't know who to trust. And that, I mean, that's everything that I've heard. You're 100% right, Ken. Everything that I have heard basically states that you can have this virus for up to 14 days without showing any symptoms. So it is pretty scary to think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like it's you're a carrier. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like pardon the whatever. People have STDs and are carriers and have no idea that they're out infecting the population because they're not showing symptoms. It's the same concept. And that's why this social distancing is such a big deal, because you can feel fine and still go out there, and those little minor, touches, hugs, sneezes, whatever, and you're infecting a whole population. And what you're doing. Like, when this first came out, I saw really startling, and I don't know if it held true, but the first week that this came out, when they figured out how deadly this was, they said that 1 in 4 people will know somebody that will die from this.
Right.
So
Right.
1 in 4, that doesn't mean like 1 in 4 people is going to have somebody close, but you're going to know somebody. That's still a huge amount of people.
Sure is.
It's
Sure
insane.
is. And I think you guys see on the crawler down there on the bottom. I'm posting
Sam's
what people are
comment.
putting in there. To back what I'm saying is that Ashtabula County isn't taking it as serious as other counties, which I do believe the Star Beacon, I'll have to fact check that, but I think it was the Star Beacon gave Ashtabula County a D or D minus.
Bro.
Right. We have.
You don't even pass a class of college getting that, okay? No. Like, trust me, I know.
Right, D- is you're grounded till interim reports there, brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what?
D- my scholarship got taken away.
Yeah.
And he makes a great point. Again, like we talked about, Sam works in the retail field. We have cameras that are track how many people come into the store. And as of the 10th, the Sandusky store had 16 people. Or maybe I maybe saying on the 10th, the Sandusky store had 16 people, where the Geneva store had 150. But I don't know. I don't know how busy those stores are. So it could be as of the 10th, only 16 people in Sandusky. So that would be little over 1.5 people a day came into the Sandusky store, where over 10 to 12 people a day came in Geneva.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Geneva has the case where the woman was on a ventilator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
now, do you guys think that that's because Geneva, Ashtabula isn't as an affluent area as Sandusky is? Do you think that might play into it at all?
I think that plays a part. I think there's a cockiness involved here. I think there are people who get very caught up in reading everything they can on Facebook that works for them, and that either is going to say that nothing is okay or everything is okay.
By the way, the biggest detriment to all of this COVID is Facebook. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Because the news that goes out there is just garbage. I mean, you've got people out there right now. I watched a video the other day that just infuriated me about somebody who was talking about, first of all, COVID is fake. Second of all, that they compared it to AIDS and said that if COVID was really this contagious, then why doesn't everybody have AIDS? She's got a lab coat that she probably bought from Party City on, and but the problem is like, it's stuff like that
Get you some.
They tie themselves to that, and then they push it out there like it's true, and then people will believe that, and they're like, oh, this is fake. Meanwhile, Grandma and Aunt Bessie are dying because you didn't take the precautions you should have, because somebody
there are people that we went to high school with that flunked remedial science that are on here that are somehow COVID experts.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, it just blows my mind. And like you said, Sam, that lady probably got her lab coat from Party City, or like the Halloween store that goes into those abandoned Toys R Us, Spirit Halloween or whatever. You know what I mean? But like, you think that you're helping, but you're not. You're instilling more misinformation. And right now, we don't need misinformation. We need information. We need concrete facts.
Yeah, we need people to take as much personal responsibility for the information that they are spreading as they do toward not going out and not spreading the virus. Because misinformation is a very, very dangerous virus as well.
Lab coats on sale at Party City.
That's right. Get them while they're hot, boy. And I'm not talking about Cash Money Records either now. So, but
taking over the summer.
So now that we're 50 minutes in, I was trying to get down.
Dear Lord,
into a little the next topic on our agenda, which I'm sure we're going to lose a few people, maybe gain a few, hopefully. Oh, hold on, before we go, Ken Copeland, I'm in Wyandotte County, I think is how it's pronounced. We are surrounded by cases, and we only have 11 people are doing pretty good down here. we have had 2 deaths, but both were elderly health issues. So the nice thing with that is it's pretty much the same thing that's kind of going on up here. It sounds almost replicated, to be quite frank. So it's worked out pretty well for the most part.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're going to move into the second agenda of the day, or night, I should say. And that's a little bit of sports talk. Me and Thom got into a little talk last night. And really, what do you think? Hey, Donnie, thanks for joining. The next step is going to be moving into, did we lose Sam again?
Sammy's frozen.
Yeah. I'm booting him.
I mean, he had a lot of Michelob Ultras, though. That just might be him right now.
Yeah, he'll be back. But moving into, really wanted Sammy's opinion because we kind of discussed it. So, but coming into a little bit of Cleveland sports is what we're going to walk into next. Thank you guys, everybody. Real quick, I'm going to take 30 seconds to shout out there. Looks like we've got a dozen people. So, real fun to watch it or listen to everybody. Hey, Sarah, thanks for joining us. Sammy lagged out. That's probably right. Mel, Ken, Sam, Don, Ricky, Lisa, Marlon. Marlon's been kicking with us the whole time, but no questions. Thanks for having
Malt
us.
liquor.
And Donnie, thanks for kicking it in with us again. You've been back and forth. We're going to take probably a 30-second intermission, or probably a 2-minute intermission. Wait for Sam to get back on here. That way we can discuss a little bit of Cleveland sports, get everyone's opinion on that. What do they think is going to happen? And we can still technical difficulties back in 5, Sam says. Yeah, he's over there with that Dollar Tree internet.
Hey, really cool. My mom just texted me and said the podcast has been awesome. So, I mean, we got Karen watching the podcast.
We're rolling. Hey, help us out too. If you guys can give us some thumbs up, some hearts, smiley faces, tears, whatever you want to call it. Don't hesitate to shout them out there. We like joy. Tears of joy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm pretty pumped to talk about these sports though, man, because I know Sammy gets real passionate about it. Yeah. I know Marlon, you love Cleveland sports, man. If you wanna throw a topic out there you want us to discuss, man, I mean, I'd love to shoot the you know what with you about it.
Shoot the shot. I get it.
Shoot your shot, man.
Yeah.
Curry. Oh, that's controversial out here.
Yep.
You can't say Curry out here. I meant Del Curry. not Steph. Yeah. Is Owen still up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not a bad parent, but he ain't got nothing better to do. And Clowney to Browns. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Real good one. That's a real good one.
We talked about that yesterday. I do believe, if I recall right, Marlon, they are on a little bit of a roadblock right now because of a physical. Not that he didn't pass it. There's something going on. Let me fact check that real quick, and I'll get back with you. If you got anything to say, Thom, go ahead.
Sam Carkett, man, draft Andrew Thomas, plain and simple. I'm going to agree with you, man. I read this thing where he had this interview with Andrew Berry, and I kind of read some snippets about the interview, like kind of what he was saying, you know, his impressions. And, you know, he wants to block for Baker. Andrew Berry came away very impressed with him. I think if Andrew Thomas is available at 10, especially blocking in that scheme that he was in at Georgia, I really think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was on the team when Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, all those guys were there too. You know, I really think that familiarity with the running back would be a benefit too. You know, I'm in the Andrew Thomas camp. But realistically, I do think that Andrew Thomas, being who he is, being that he had a good workout, I really think he's going to go maybe like, I mean, I could really see him if the Panthers pass on Isaiah Simmons, I could see Thomas going to the Panthers. Thomas is my 1A. 1B would be Mekhi Becton, because there's no way on God's green earth that Jedrick Willis would be there. I do agree. Sam, trade up to get him if we have to. How sweet would it be to have a generational Thomas at one point, Joe Thomas, and then, you have a couple years off, and then a new Thomas, Andrew Thomas comes in. I mean, just solidifying the left tackle spot with Thomas's, man.
Back, Sam.
And Nick, I do agree with you. If Simmons is there, I think he's a generational type defensive player. If he's there, I think it does behoove us to take him. Kennedy, Tom Brady going to Tampa. I can think of two places he would have fit in better. I think LA, the Chargers would have been better. And I think Tampa, I think New England just staying there would have been better. But we're gonna see what he does in Tampa Bay. I think that I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the last high-profile quarterback I can think of that spent X amount of years with a franchise and then went to another franchise is Montana.
The only successful one.
The only successful one, yeah. Didn't he have Herschel Walker on the team with him too?
Wait, before we get into Herschel Walker, I don't know how we're getting that far, but
that I cannot remember.
Right. So real quick, per 92.3 The Fan, Bull and Fox, one of my favorite radio shows to listen to in the morning.
Somehow
the reason. Let me see. Make sure I'm on there. I haven't changed anything. You and Sammy's gone again.
What?
Oh, I hate Sammy. Anyways, per 92.3 The Fan, Bull and Fox, the reason they haven't signed Clowney yet simply is because they can't get him in for a physical. So
that's a big thing right now.
Can you wait? Hold on. You're back. Let me see if this will help you.
Nick,
see me now?
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Peyton Manning is probably the most recent one.
Yeah, but I mean, Peyton Manning with the Broncos, I mean, that was pretty much him just dropping back and handing it off to C.J. Anderson and then Von Miller wrecking havoc on defense. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, yeah, he did win a Super Bowl, but I wouldn't say he was
well, Kennedy Palmer.
Peyton Manning.
She just
hold on before you get into Kennedy. I want to. This is a great question.
To a NFC Championship game, didn't they?
Shoot, man, Brett Favre. Oh my God, I can't think tonight.
Did they?
Well,
I know
he
did some. I know he went to the playoffs.
Before we what, Ryan? Come on.
Yeah. I was gonna say before we get into craziness, Ricky.
Why can I not see Ryan?
Ricky had a great question, and that is, what do you? I have it scrolling across the bottom. Can you at least hear me, Sam? No, he can't hear me either.
Sammy, can you hear Ryan? No, I can't hear Sammy. So we got to nail this out, man.
Yeah, we will. But anyways, the question is from Ricky, and I think it's a great question, is what do you think will happen with the ticket prices once everything comes back? I truly think it's going to be pretty detrimental to the NFL. I know they went to the 17-game season starting next year, not this year, but next year. So that'll be a way to recoup some money, but I think it's going to take a couple years to recoup what they're going to lose because everyone's going to be afraid to go. That's just what it is.
Oh yeah.
You on the iPad, Sammy?
Yeah, I switched back to my phone because I had the iPad going, but I could only see Tom.
Okay.
I think you're going to see ticket prices be lower just because they're going to draw people in. But I don't know how successful it's going to be.
Right. Sam, you got anything on that? We were just talking about Ricky Hernandez's question about ticket prices coming in.
Oh, they've got to go down. I mean, you're going to see they're going to be just. I feel like they're going to be just like the airplanes. Like first of all, you're gonna have to heavily incentivize people to take that risk, whether it's real or not, to come in there. Yep. So I'll tell you what, nobody is going to drop $400 on a Sunday and possibly catch a respiratory virus that could kill you. So
you're paying to get the virus at that point.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
For sure.
With a couple beers.
People aren't going to want to drop, $200 on tickets, $55 on parking, $18 on beer. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to happen.
Only
so
18.
Have to figure it out.
Right. And then Kennedy asked a question. I think we touched on it a little bit. What do you think about Tom Brady going to Tampa? It's not that it's a bad question, Ken. It's just the simple fact is New England didn't want him back. That's a Bill Belichick regime. Once he thinks you're done, man. That's it. Going to Tampa, I think is a great landing spot because of the wide receiving core there. I'm not 100% sure on how the offensive line there is because Tom Brady has to have an offensive line committed to him to be able to be successful. That's one of the hurdles he had last year, why he wasn't as successful as he usually is.
Their offensive line isn't too bad, Ryan. I mean, it's not a bad offensive line, but it's not it's not a Cowboys offensive line. I do think that the lack of I do think that a lack of cohesion is really going to hurt. If there is an NFL season, I do think that you're not going to see Brady do as hot as he normally does because I mean he knows Edelman's routes. He knows those guys inside and out in New England. He doesn't know Godwin. He doesn't know Mike Evans. He doesn't know Cameron Brady. He doesn't know OJ Howard. He doesn't know how Peyton Barber and those guys run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Here's the thing. I
mean, he does, but he doesn't.
I have a visual representation of how I think that season is going to go in Tampa.
Okay. Oh, a trash can.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hey, I think
that's a nice trash can, though.
Right. That could be turned into a burn barrel too.
It's a shiny trash can because they're gonna get destroyed in beautiful new uniforms.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen Atlanta's uniforms? Those are straight trash.
Atlanta looks like the XFL from the first time around.
You hate me, and I do hate those uniforms.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to go out there and do a foot race for the ball.
So Sam Carkett, he puts on here. I'm going to show it up on there on the screen. He disagrees. I'm assuming he's talking about disagreeing that the prices will go down. He thinks the price is going to go up, which I could see why that happens because obviously if less people are going to games, they need to recoup money, so prices might go up. But your guys' thoughts on that again. And Sam, tell us, if you're agreeing with me, tell me why you disagree that they will go up. So, and then Marlon chimes in. Oops, sorry, I want to get to this one. Baseball prices for NFL games, I'm in. I mean, that's for sure. You walk into an Indians game right now on a Tuesday at 1:00, you can get in at about $8. So
listen, man,
and you luck out, and you get the buy one get one hot dog and maybe $1 beer on the same day. You're rolling. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you want to talk about what? So look at the overall experience for an NFL game because I'll tell you, just personally speaking, I have more fun in Muni Lot than I'll ever have in a game. You get
for sure,
absolutely,
for sure.
So you go to a game, you can't see what's going on. Most of the time you're loaded or you're around people who are loaded, so you can't really hear the game either. Let's just be very honest about this. Going to a game, watching the game experience sucks. It's much better to sit and look at it on a TV amongst friends in a great atmosphere. So people are not, if they think so they can go ahead and try to double up these prices or try and increase these prices, but what you're going to have are expensive empty seats. So that might that might happen for 4 to 6 games, and then you'll start getting threatened with blackouts and stuff like that again. But at the end of the day, they're going to say, "I'd rather get some money than no money." So even if it's for a year, they're going to lower. I feel like they're going to lower prices because they want people in there. And what they'll do is they'll veil it behind trying to act like they're doing it for the people, saying we understand your economic hardships, so we've dropped the prices.
Right. I can see that.
Making them seem like they're saviors or something. Yeah, I mean, it's all like it's all a PR game at that point, man.
Yeah, I love
make it a philanthropic, thing that they're doing. And
hey, Mr. Malaregno, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the party.
In the boardrooms, they figured out like, oh crap, we're not going to make any money. Let's see if we can sucker them into at least paying something.
Right, and I love Sam Carkett. He paid double price right now to go to watch an Indians game. I would as much as I love the Cleveland Browns, got the elf on my shoulder, all that fun jazz. But I love going to watch the Indians. Just kick it there and be able to relax and watch the game. I love going to the games there. That ballpark is beautiful. I'm not saying the Cleveland First Energy Stadium is not beautiful. I do love it there.
Not.
But that's it. Hey,
Ryan,
Mike, draft in 11 days.
You're not kidding on your arm?
Yes, I got the elf on. See if I can get it up there. Hold on, let me see.
I'm gonna do you one better. I have Manziel 2 tattooed on my back. Whole back piece.
What is it?
Manziel 2 tattooed on my whole back.
No, you don't. No, you got to show it now. You can't say it and not prove it, brother. Come on, take that shirt off.
PG-rated show. I'm not taking this shirt off. You got to pay double for that.
You're off your rocker. Show it, brother. Hey, just go to the side and you can
I
Superman it through.
I don't. I was just trying to be controversial. I hated Johnny Manziel. Oh my gosh, that dude. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but the Robert California to Andy from The Office line when he's insulting Andy on the phone about starting a street fight, you can look it up. That's exactly how I feel about Johnny Manziel.
Right. You are right. Mike Malaragno draft in 11 days. That's what we're going to touch on a little bit. Me and Thom talked yesterday about the Browns picking up Jack Conklin. Yeah, hold on. Owen wants to say hello on the live stream, so give me 1 second.
Owen Cole.
Dogger. I'll tell you
one thing. Right, you got to look up there. So picking up Jack Conklin and having fun with that, and then obviously what did we say yesterday? The right tackle position was an important position that we needed to figure out as well, or left tackle. But so go ahead with your guys' thoughts on who they're going to take in the first round, which obviously is going to be an offensive player. Mike chime in, Kennedy chime in, Sam chime in, Billman chime in. Go ahead and let us know. We'll post it. I'll get it up there.
I'll tell you what, we're in a very unfortunate position again this year, as are we most of the time, because there's a lot of quarterback talent out there. I don't know how much of it's NFL talent in this year's draft.
Oh yeah,
we've got Baker on this make or break year again, which seems to be a common theme with Cleveland. The drafts where quarterbacks are completely flush and you have a bunch of them out there, we've got a guy that we're trying to stick by. But now if Baker goes out here this year and stinks up the room, unless we get the number one pick, what's the talent in the draft quarterback wise next year?
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields.
Yeah, right.
Number 1 and number 2. So now you got to be in the top 5 to get one of those guys.
And then nobody else.
Right. So Baker leads us to another 6-10 record. We're not going to be in the top 5.
But do you truly think he's going to be a 6-10 record this year?
I'll tell you this. I'm gonna go out and say that until he proves me wrong, I feel like I got sold a bill of goods on that guy. I got sold a bill of goods on that guy because he came out like he was on fire that first year, got comfortable, got fat, stopped trying, and it showed.
Hey, to follow up, I don't know if you guys see what Mike Malaragno put, and he makes a great statement. Having Case Keenum, and they signed him to a decent deal. It wasn't just a generic backup deal. It was, they gave him some cash to be there, and that is there to push him, and he is 110% right. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what I love about that is that move right there is reminiscent of the Tennessee move that they did with Mariota, and bringing in Tannehill. Tannehill's supposed to be this this guy that they're bringing in just to be second string. And I think that they saw the writing was on the wall on Mariota, that he wasn't really the guy.
Right. Nick Billman puts out there, I'm leaning to Thomas, which I'm assuming is what the left tackle,
Andrew
I recall,
Thomas,
right?
Yeah.
Out of where's he from? Is he from Bama? Is that right? Am I wrong?
No,
where's
Georgia.
Georgia. That's okay.
Georgia.
And like I said, if Simmons is there, he's too good to pass up on. Yeah, 100% right. We have to shore up them.
If Simmons is there, then I think he might be a generational linebacker.
The only thing with Simmons though, man, is I have seen so many people recently, like on Twitter and stuff. Oh, Isaiah Simmons is just a bigger Jabril Peppers.
Hey, Corey, what's up, buddy?
But that's is that necessarily a bad thing?
Jabril Peppers, I mean, he had years where he looked like he was the best defensive end in football, or not Jabril, excuse me, where he was the best safety in college, where he looked like he was the best safety in college.
And I would like to point out, if I recall right, Corey, who just joined the show, is a monstrous, I can't say it, the team from up north fan.
Oh, God.
I had to throw him under the bus a little bit.
Where's the trash can?
Yeah, where's that trash can, Sam? Yeah, bring it up. Get you a trash can. Yeah.
Is that the rust-proof trash can?
No, that is not rust-proof, brother. That's going to rot through with the salt they put on that road.
That's a WWE trash can. That's a WWE trash can you smack him on the back of the head with.
Right. Oh, Baker is the touchdown maker. Oh, and so real quick, my wife, she sells a product called It Works. She's got some Skinny Brew stuff. And actually, I mean, if you like to clean your digestive tract out, this will do it. It will probably, yeah, there it is. Michigan in a trash can. That's also what comes out when I drink the Skinny Brew. It lets it ride. But if she hands me a little thing, I'll show it to you. She loves talking about it, being part of it. I know there's only 10 or 11, but let me see if I can get this up there. And it says Skinny Brew. It's a replacement coffee maker or coffee instead. It has, I think, 2 or 3 cups of caffeine, or 2 or 3, not cups, but 2 or 3 variations of caffeine. So if you guys are ever interested in a fat-burning coffee, let me know and I can pass you on over to my wife. Caffee.
Hey, I really want to acknowledge what Ricky just said right there. Baker's the touchdown maker. We have to support and trust him. And he'll come through. We as fans have to build him up so he can play confidently. Ryan, what we talked about last night, I cannot remember in my lifetime a player who was drafted to a Cleveland team that has been embraced the way that Baker has outside of LeBron James.
Hey, let's just start here real quick. Kennedy, I'm going to get to your question, and then Nick will get to you. But who remembers the Monday Night Football game when Baker Mayfield showed up?
Oh,
I do.
I'll never.
Oh
I will.
I cried
in my lifetime. I will never forget that day. How that went, how that felt, and he came in and took over. This man, he is electric. And when I say I talk electric, he is WWE, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin electric. He will come out and light the world on fire.
You're like Stone Cold.
Hey, let it ride, man. If that's what you got to do, I don't care. But in my opinion, he is the answer. I know. I love the fact that brought Case Keenum. Yeah, but you know, Sammy, you're shaking your head like, no, he's not the answer.
Listen, guys,
who would you rather have, Sammy?
Listen, guys, I'll be Cowherd. I'll be Cowherd.
Come on, don't do that.
I'll be that guy because I'm going to tell you.
It's not draftable.
I'm going to tell you what we got was a guy who came in hungry, got fed, and didn't get hungry again.
He got hungry again, just in the wrong way. Yeah, he looks like you and me now.
His whole game is based on people thinking that he's no good. So maybe this year that, people are starting to say that he's no good, he's going to step up again. But this guy, listen, you guys are looking at him, and I was guilty myself. Browns fans look at Baker through rose-colored glasses, and they act like all these mistakes he makes are everybody's fault but him. But here's the thing, and I'm going to push this down to you right now. If we had even a little bit better quarterback this year, we have 9 wins and we're in the playoffs. That's a fact. That's not an opinion.
I don't know. I mean, who would have been the better quarterback like that you could have picked up? That would have been the biggest question. But
if you say Sam Darnold, I'm logging off.
Right.
No.
Let's transition a little bit because I like Kennedy's question, and thanks for being a big part of the show, Kennedy. You've asked quite a few questions, but do you think it's all on Baker? What do you think? I'm assuming about Odell. I do believe last year it was all on Baker in every way, shape, or form. But I also think Freddie gave him the keys to the kitchen. Like how I did that, I felt good about that. But I think Freddie told him, you're the man. You do it your way. That's what we're gonna do. That's how you're gonna do it. But I'm not a big fan. Big fan of Odell. Yeah, I want to be. I think he has a lot to not prove because he's proved it, but I think he has a lot to show. But that does rest on Baker's shoulders because if Baker don't get him the ball, he can't do nothing. And the hard part is he's double teamed every time. That's a tough one. So, but yeah, thanks for the question, Ken. I'm going to get to a few of other your guys. Nick, I see you had something on there. Mike, Ricky, thanks for the claps. I'm assuming because I referred to Baker as Stone Cold and The Rock. Sam, I'll get to that. Yeah, look at Sam. I got to get to Sam's because it agrees with me. That's all I care about. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. So, yeah, about the Monday Night Football game. It was the best. And then I will say, though, Mike Malaragno, so I'm debating on whether I like him that much now, Mike Malaragno, just because he agreed with Sammy. He showed up to camp very out of shape last summer, and that's for sure. And then Marlon Landry is our best wide receiver. I've said that since day one. I agree with that. He's a consistent figure, that's for sure. But go ahead.
Landry's our best wide receiver because he had a year with Baker that Odell didn't have.
Yeah.
I think my favorite receiver in football, even before he came to the Browns, was Odell Beckham. Because Odell Beckham shows a level of athleticism that you don't see too often. And when we have a guy like Odell Beckham, he wants the ball, he wants his catches, he wants his yards, he wants his touchdowns. Because he's earned that.
For sure.
Because he can play that way. But I think the onus was on Baker to figure out how to get the ball to other people. But if you're a guy like Odell, you're going to get your catches. You're going to get your receptions. Your receiving yards. Sorry, that was redundant. But he was so afraid of making Odell upset, in my opinion, that it took away from, kind of the success that Baker could have had. It kind of was almost like he was like walking on eggshells in a way. But it wasn't. It was in his own head. So Odell came out and said that.
Here's the problem in Cleveland, okay? And this is the problem with not only Cleveland ownership, it's the problem with Cleveland fans, it's Cleveland in general. All right, we want to be we want people to cater to us. So
yeah.
We got a guy, everybody thought that Freddie Kitchens was going to be Bill Belichick because he was fat and drank beer. So everybody was like, yeah, that's me. That guy looks like my gym class. We didn't care that he couldn't beat you in Madden.
Right. So, and you know what, though? What I love about that is it's 100% truth. That's the way. And Ashtabula County, back to the reason why I'm doing this show with you guys is to talk about the feelings of Ashtabula County, not Cuyahoga County or Crawford, whatever it may be. And that's the way we see him. I mean, we see him as Freddie Kitchens being the guy that will slam a 12-pack with you in the garage at night. That's just what it is, and that's why we all loved him. I myself, personally, I'd still love Freddie if he was there, even if they went 7-9 like last year. That's better. The biggest issue I had was last year Freddie Kitchens still had a decent record for a first-year head coach. Realistically, was he that good of a coach? No, but going 7-9
with that
team, you can put it with that team though too. But that's on paper because they have to produce just as well. It really comes down to Baker.
Record as the first-year head coach for the Cavs, but he better have with that team. Steve Kerr, he better have had a good record with that team. I really like what Nick Billman said. Just to kind of give me 2 seconds here. I really like what Nick Billman said. We had a drug trafficker as our left tackle. He was about as good of a drug trafficker as he was a left tackle.
Oh, Greg Robinson. How much pot was that? About 130 pounds?
What excuse does
Enough
that
is what it was.
We lost to a Pittsburgh Steelers team whose quarterback is playing for the Erie Express team this year.
Yes.
So,
his name is Duck.
Yeah, okay. Yep. We lost to a guy named Duck.
By the way, just a little fact check. Per CBSSports.com, Greg Robinson was arrested for possession of 157 pounds of marijuana. Don't get me wrong, the guy's a big guy.
As we call it in Cleveland, half a kitchen.
Right. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it was amazing. But anyways, yeah, Duck is now on the Erie Express. I hope he starts, but we did lose to them. Yeah. We did lose to them. All right, so moving on a little bit here, because we did talk about the draft, and the obvious need is offensive line. That's what it is, and the hope.
I just want to say this real quick. I don't want to build our offensive line in the draft. I want to spend every penny we have on the offensive line. the offensive lineman is not a position I feel like you need to take a position. You need to take a chance on, and we are also not in a position to develop anybody. What we've got are some contracts that are coming up, so we're going to be good right now. We have a window. So if they're serious about winning, you go out and you spend money like Dallas did in the early 90s on their offensive line and overpay everybody to protect your guys, and then let your skill players that you're only going to have for 2 or 3 years go out there and win you a couple championships. Because this division is winnable. This division is winnable. Like you can get after Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, that's it.
All those Michael Vick comparisons, by the way, are such BS, man.
He's better than Vick. Way better.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm leaving the chat.
Right, there it goes. Yeah, he's better than Vic. You can't. Yeah,
he's better than Vic.
Yeah,
he's a better quarterback.
Yeah, he's so Vic, much more diverse than Vic. I mean, he runs like a swan.
Snaps, but yeah.
If you're talking about Madden, I'll take Vic all day. Vic on any team. I don't care if it was with Philly, or, the Eagles, and didn't he play on what other team? The Jets, if I recall right.
Jets and the Steelers, and that pained me, man.
Right. Now,
Vic's my favorite player of all time. So.
One big thing, Andrew Berry is planning on spending money in the draft. The Browns, if I recall right, and maybe I don't know if Mike's still with us. I know he's pretty knowledgeable on this stuff, but I do believe they got about $43 million cap space this year.
But that also includes rollover cap.
Okay, so they had a lot from last year to this year, but they're planning on spending. I think there's a lot to see that's going to happen, but there's not a lot of big names. Jadeveon Clowney is about the only big name left out on that big board that could be good for them.
I'll tell you what, he's going to give us a lot more than Olivier Vernon is.
Yeah, well, the problem, me and Tom were talking about that last night. The problem with Olivier Vernon is there's too much cap, or he's $15 million for this year, and if they dump him, they're not going to save that much. It wouldn't be worth it to him. But
At what point do the Browns? So, do you think that the Cleveland Cavaliers got a championship? And I understand it's basketball, but I'm not talking about sports. I'm talking about market. So, do you think the Cavaliers got a championship by worrying about the cap? No, they said let's turn it up to number 11. Let's overspend on everything and at least get one. It's the market. It's what you have to do in Cleveland, because guess what? Nobody looks forward to playing in Cleveland. They never will, particularly in an outdoor sport.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of teams, though. There's a lot of teams. I mean, how many dome stadiums are there? Let me see. Dome stadiums in the NFL.
I don't think that's necessarily true anymore, though, Sammy. I mean, you got a lot of guys, though, like Jarvis Landry has gone on record saying that he loves it here.
Because he's not going to get paid.
Wanted to come back. Schobert wanted to come back. I mean,
Schobert is another one who would have been overpaid. Schobert is a good linebacker. But
I'm not saying Joe Schobert's Ray Lewis by any means.
You know what I mean?
But,
like he wasn't gonna get get paid like he is. I know. Put it this way: big market teams aren't paying Joe Schoberts. They're just not. Not the money he wanted.
No, that's why he ended up in Jacksonville, right, with the Jaguar, which isn't a bad move for him, but. I hate to agree with it. I love Joe Schobert. I thought he was a great football player. Sammy hated him with a passion. He thought he was just the biggest POS. Overrated. And I can see the overrated part. But at the same token, I liked him. He was consistent. He always had a lot of tackles per game. Not a lot of – what's that?
Nick said he got overpaid in Jacksonville. I said that's big facts right there.
That's because Jacksonville, they know who they are. They know that the only way you're coming here is if I'm paying you more than they're going to pay you in Miami or
sure, but that's the same thing. Cleveland. Now to touch back on the dome stadiums, we in the NFL, the 32 teams that are in the NFL, there's only 7 dome stadiums, so that's less than what 20% of the teams have, or I'm sorry, right at 20% of the teams have dome stadiums. So domes, I can't say play a big factor in the role of whether or not they're going to be using. That's going to judge. I don't think most players care. I think about college. How many college stadiums are dome? I don't think there's one. Is there?
No, but so there are domes in college. Minnesota plays.
Idaho.
Here's the
Kibbe
thing.
Stadium.
Weather is a factor in football.
Okay? Oh, absolutely.
Sure. It's not the biggest factor, but let me tell you this: if the difference between playing in Cleveland If Cleveland's only going to pay you $2 million more than what you're going to get paid in Miami or LA or any of the Texas teams, you don't even
Syracuse.
consider Cleveland. Now, if you're going to play up here, teams like Minnesota are going to be able to get guys like Brett Favre at the end of their career. Guess why? They're playing in a controlled environment. New Orleans,
It's
they're
true.
playing in a controlled environment. So if you want to stretch out your time, why do you think Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay? Because of the weather. Because he knew that
Yeah.
he's 154 years old and he's one cold day away from breaking his hip. So
What is he? He
Tampa
was
Bay.
41.
Tom Brady, he's like 42.
Yeah.
I
42,
mean,
43.
come on.
Yeah, well,
Anywho.
that's what it is. So it's not only that, it's weather, it's culture, it's the economics of the state, like the Browns are behind it. So if you want to win, I've got this. The Browns and you can stamp this. The Browns will never win a championship unless they are damn near over the salary cap.
Oh yeah,
That's how
yeah.
aggressive they're going to have.
It's just like the Cleveland Cavs. Like, I mean, all the years LeBron was there, look how much luxury tax they paid.
Yeah,
that was
where
it.
we're at now.
Right, just
More
in
money
the
than I
dump,
can have.
in the dump. Yeah, I mean, I'll bet. What's his Dan Gilbert was. Thank God it's over with for the year.
Oh,
I mean, he probably saved a boatload of money by them not playing.
He's cutting his losses and getting Little Caesars going back to Detroit. We'll see.
You know that's right.
I mean, I don't know.
Brother.
Isn't he still in the hospital though?
Hey Joel,
Yeah,
thanks for joining.
Recovered, didn't he?
Huh?
I think he recovered.
Yeah.
Oh well, I hope he did.
Just to let everyone know, I think we got about 10 people watching us. We've bounced back and forth between 10 and 20 people. I want to thank everyone for joining us. We've been doing this. This is our second cast. This big thing. The reason why we're doing this, we start off talking about a little bit of COVID update for Ashtabula County. DeWine gets on there, and he does talk about the whole state. But no one ever seems to talk about Ashtabula, what's going on. Kennedy can relate. She is my cousin. Our grandmother just passed away of the COVID-19 virus. So we like to talk about just what's happening. And that's one of the inspirations for me to start this show. Thom was also an inspiration. And Sammy, honestly, he just joined in, and I think he's having a lot of fun with it. But so we're just talking about we rolled through COVID as quickly as we can. That was 45 minutes of our time here.
That
talking
was
about little,
ridiculous.
yeah. Right, but that's the part of it, just to inform everyone, any information you have about it that we don't know, we like to be as informed as we can. It's a serious situation, not just in Ohio, but the world. So it's fun to talk about. Well, not fun to talk about, but it's exciting news to find out, especially when things are going well. We roll into a little bit of sports, and then, we'll close out Easter Sunday and how everyone's went, and then close it up. But one big thing I would like to touch on, I think Mike brought it up, Malaragno, not about the Titans, but about Frankie Lindor. There it is. Sam is right. That's why we won't have Lindor in 2 years. So
that was not liquor.
Yeah. So I don't follow a lot of baseball, to be quite honest. I just kind of get into. I love watching Lindor. He is one of my favorite players all time, other than Jim Thome. Y'all can hate on me. You don't have to, but I love the Tominator. So, but go ahead. If you guys want to touch on that, go right ahead.
Listen, people are they're going to hate me for this. And it is what it is. The Cleveland Indians management is constantly given credit on how to run a mid-market team. And I think that's all horse crap. I think they are the prime example on how to just hover over mediocrity and just put that like the Geico commercial with the guy with the dollar bill and the fishing pole, where you almost got it. So, we lucked into, because anybody that World Series year, which by the way, I took that as hard as the 95 loss. It killed me.
I cried.
Killed me. Because when Rajai Davis hits that home run, I've never been so hyped in my life. Like, as an adult, I've never been that happy. But the Cleveland Indians are the perfect example of, we're going to be good, but just not championship good. We're gonna flirt with it, and we're gonna keep you interested, and then we're gonna have a couple bad years and get good again. And I don't want that. Listen, we're either gonna win or we're not. That's it. I'm sick of. I hate being in the middle. I hate being in the middle of the pack. And the window was open
with you.
And Frankie Lindor, to get somebody who is that good, that actually wants to play here, and we're not going to pay him.
Bro, when that happened, when he said enjoy him while you have him, if I was Frankie, I'd be like, man, then get me out of here. Because you know what? Like, that's disrespect. That dude wants to be on your team. We get rid of Frankie Lindor, I will promise you, I don't care how sacrilegious this sounds, I will never watch the Indians again. I'm being 100% honest. I grew up an Indians fan, but my dad, Dodgers fan, so I grew up Indians and Dodgers. I'll just switch to Dodgers full time, man. I don't care, because if you're actively going to go and tell your fans that you're not going to re-sign a top 3 player at his position, probably a top 7 player in the MLB right now, because you don't have the money, how do you not have the money? You own a pro baseball team.
Right.
Dip into your funds, man. Like,
without
I mean,
any.
dude, I'll make like a $50 donation. Like,
They-
come on, there's no salary cap.
Yeah, they hide behind that, and then they throw out things like, well, if you guys come out to the stadium, we'll have the money to spend. First of all, stop threatening.
You're putting it on the fans. That's not fair.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Stop leveraging our money against getting a good team. That's not how this works. You get good, we will come.
Yeah.
For sure.
We're not going to go out there and watch, the Lake County Captains play against the Detroit Tigers for 3 seasons, so that you know what I mean? So that maybe when somebody gets good, we can sign them. No, that's crap.
Right. Nick brings up a good point. And that's, I mean, I don't really follow into the baseball scene too much, but everything that I've ever noticed was, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Dolans that own the Indians. But
unfortunately,
they have always been not that interested in the baseball team to dump money into it. Like,
no, he is correct. I misspoke. It is not management. It is ownership. That's who I meant. It's ownership.
Yeah,
that's
anyone managing that team, or the GM, whether it's the head coach, whatever it may be, they want to be the best team that they can. That's what they're there for. So, but it's the ownership that doesn't open up the pocketbook.
Sadly though, this was predicted. Man. In the 90s, Major League, that girl owner, she's just Paul Dolan.
Yeah.
Paul Dolan is her. I mean, like, honestly, it's just funny. The name Dolan in sports, I just don't think that any Dolan should be allowed to own a team. James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, look how bad he's messed that franchise up. Paul Dolan.
Right.
I'll tell you what are the chances that one family can ruin 2 giant franchises? Because honestly, you could say that before the 80s, before Bernie and them, the Indians were probably the top team in Cleveland.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So you could argue that they still are the top team in Cleveland.
I mean, when it comes to win percentage, they are. Except the Cavaliers had that blurb because, we had that kid from Akron running us around.
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of the kid from Akron, Ricky, will LeBron come back to Cleveland to retire? I'm going to answer that with I hope not.
Absolutely, yes.
But why I hope not? Let's go there.
Okay, so with LeBron, it's kind of like the way I've always felt about LeBron. It's like I start dating this girl. We had a great relationship for X amount of years. And then she goes on Facebook Live and says, you know what? I really like dating Tom, but I'm going to go date this dude with 6-pack abs and not a man bun. And then leaves me. And I'm supposed to be cool with it. Oh, because she, she was really good to me. Then a couple of years later, she comes back because she's like, you've lost some weight. You don't have a man bun anymore. I think we're going to go back out. And then some pretty cool stuff happens. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, she's like, you know what? I'm out of here again. But then I'm supposed to take her back a second time a couple of years later just because I want my friends to feel good for me. Like, nah, man. Like, and I mean, that might be a horrible comparison, but that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, I don't like LeBron. I never liked him as a person. I think he's a fantastic human being. Like, he does a lot for kids. He does a lot for communities. But, like, I just don't think LeBron ever really cared about Cleveland in a certain way. I think he cared about winning a championship, but I think it was more for himself and just the Cleveland, this is for you. Okay. I think that was more for, like, that was to appease us. It wasn't how he was really feeling. And I can't speak to that, but I I'm just not a LeBron guy. I was always a McGrady. I mean, I got McGrady's logo tattooed on my arm right here. I don't know if you can see that, but I was always McGrady, Penny Hardaway, Allen Iverson. I always like those guys more. But I just never was a LeBron guy, man. And I if he comes back, I mean, like to retire as a Cav, I mean, sign him to a 1-day deal like the Cowboys did with Emmitt Smith and be done with it. Don't have all this fanfare. I mean, he kicked you or you don't like it 2 times now.
Here's the thing.
Jordan never did that.
LeBron James has done more for Cleveland than any other athlete in the history of the city. It's not even close. Nobody has given as much as LeBron has to us in that championship. So everybody has their favorite athlete. My favorite athlete prior to LeBron is Manny Ramirez.
Manny being Manny.
I love me some Manny. Ryan loves Jim Thome. Everybody loves Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar gave us no championships. Nothing, zero, zilch. That's what we got.
Hey, I mean,
you know what we got?
Bernie Kosar gave us every brain cell he had, though.
Do you know what we got from the 95 Indians? A second place finish. Do you know what we got from the 97 Indians? A second place finish.
Yeah.
Do you know what we got from the Cardiac Kids and those Browns teams of the 80s? Second, third, fourth place finishes. Do you know what we got from this kid from Akron who
First
decided that's it, baby. The only time we've ever gotten it. And not just any. A historic comeback win over a team that we shouldn't have even been playing with. Something that we get to hang our hat on a block that when I saw it almost gave me a heart attack. And Kyrie Irving, who everybody hates, who I will always love.
Kyrie's my favorite Cav of all time.
Hitting a shot that I almost busted my vocal cords. Like that 2000 that Cavaliers championship team is going to be forever my favorite Cleveland sports team ever. It doesn't matter who won.
When we lost you earlier, we were talking about them. They actually replayed that game. What is Game 7? Because they came back. They were down. They were 1-3 to the Golden. The team out west. We won't say that name either. But they came back
because we beat them Golden State Warriors.
Right? Yeah. Well, Ohio State's beat Michigan many times, many times. But we still don't say that. But yeah, you're 100% right. LeBron. I mean, he's going to be the GOAT at least in. I would say the northern hemisphere for sure, or northeast hemisphere of Ohio all the way around. But moving on a little bit, I'd like to get Brenton involved. This is Kennedy's. If I recall, I don't know if they're engaged or not, so I apologize, Ken, if I'm wrong, but I think they are engaged. Kennedy is due. Kennedy is. Yeah. Kennedy is due, I think, in about a month, if I recall, a little over a month. She's a little past 8 months along. But Brenton wants to know, when can a New England sports analyst join the show? Which we've talked about. I love it when people jump on. Like Sammy wasn't on with us the other night, and he hopped on with us tonight, and it's been great having him on here, and I'm sure he'll be back. Brenton, whenever you want to jump on with us, I can send you a link, get you rolling. The biggest thing, now that you bring that up, so we're going to get a little bit off topic because we usually just talk about Cleveland sports, but what about the New England quarterback situation? What is going to happen there?
Dumpster. Sign me, man. I'd be a better quarterback than some of those dudes. I'm 50 pounds overweight, man, and I'm going to do better than that.
Right.
But honestly, though, I'd like to see Cam Newton go there. I know it's not a traditional Belichick quarterback, but I think Cam Newton, he's got that fire in him right now. He wants to come back from that injury. He wants to do a show and prove type contract. I don't think you go after Jameis Winston, like we talked about last night. That's a Steelers quarterback right there through and through. I don't think you do Red Rocket Andy Dalton. I think Cam Newton is the dumpster fire. I think Cam Newton's the answer all day. And I'd just like to see Belichick finally do some wizardry with a mobile quarterback, man. I think that'd be cool to see.
I agree with you on Cam Newton. I think that's ideal. I think he goes there and they are immediately a contender again. If they don't, but what we're going to get to see is everybody loves Bill Belichick, and we're going to get to see it now. He's always made he has always made the Brady's backups look good. So I think
Brian Hoyer looks like he could light the world on fire when he's playing.
I mean, I think people are forgetting. Remember, Matt Castle turned 1 year with New England into a
Yeah.
monster contract.
11-5 year.
Yeah, with poor
Did.
Kansas City taking on that mediocre quarterback and paying him like he was a stud. So I think it is going to be a it's going to be, you know what it reminds me of is when Kobe and Shaq split up. And I think in this version, Belichick is going to be Kobe, and I think Brady is going to be Shaq.
Yeah. So just
Go on to win a ring.
Well, I think I think Belichick is going to look good, and I think Brady, even if he does get success, it's going to be because of the people around him, not him.
There you go, Dwayne Wade, baby. Gary Payton, Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
That skeleton of Gary Payton running point guard.
I mean, people
with Jason Williams, white chocolate backing him up.
People forget that Shaq just kind of went team to team like a hired gun and just stunk up the joint.
Right.
Yeah, didn't he go like Heat, Suns?
Yeah.
Crazy.
He was in Cleveland at one point in time.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he went everywhere.
Boston, wearing number 36.
Yeah.
Super out of shape.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, Brenton is I do believe, a lifelong fan of the New England Patriots, but rightfully so. He's from the Boston area. He also serves in the military. I'm not 100% sure what branch, so I do apologize. But yeah, thank you for your service, Brenton.
Brenton, I'll give you credit because Ben Coates, when I was a kid, was my favorite tight end. I don't know how old you are, so maybe you don't remember him, but he played on New England before people remembered that they were a team. He played on New England when they were like Golden State was before they had Steph Curry. So back when New England had as many fans as Golden State did, when Golden State's fans were only Mark Curry and Danny Tanner.
Oh my God,
Danny Tanner! What in the hell? That's funny though. That is funny. But yeah, so thank you for your service over there. Appreciate it, even though, you know, it is a dumpster fire that don't know what's going to happen. Do you think they're going to pick up somebody via the draft?
No, they need to wait. Nick just said it, and I was actually going to say it. New England needs to tank. They need to get Trevor Lawrence. He's the most sure thing since Andrew Luck. And I think you have one bad year, and you have multiple good years with that long-haired god throwing a football. That is Trevor Lawrence.
The only way that's happening is if they convince Bill Belichick to lie about having COVID and he takes the year off, because there's no way he's going to just sit there and do it on purpose.
Oh, that's an absolute thing that I would do. Or Justin Fields.
I am not a fan of Justin Fields. He's another one. He's going to have to prove it to me. Me and Nick fought about this guy every single week last year. I just don't see this elite quarterback everybody else does. I think he's good.
The man got his knee busted in the Michigan game, was out for 3 plays, and came back and energized that team to multiple touchdowns, Sammy. My face is turning red.
Yeah, do you know what happens? You know what pressure does to pipes, right?
It makes them burst.
Yeah, right. And that's what happened to him. They put pressure on him, and Clemson made him look like he shouldn't have even been a quarterback. He was
I don't know.
He was throwing ducks in that game.
All right. Well, I mean, we definitely totally got off topic there. But again, I want to thank everyone for joining the show. There's been a lot of people. I'm really surprised. Once we got off the topic of the COVID, we did drop out quite a few, which I kind of expected. So just to recap, you know, COVID, nothing's really changed. 26th in Ashtabula County, 2 deaths. Moving into the Browns, I think we're all pretty sure it's going to be a right tackle off the rip.
He had 3 interceptions, Marlon. 3.
There you go. And then how did
2 against Clemson.
How did everyone's Easter go on the cast here?
Mine went good. We ate like we have never eaten before.
Less than 10
leftovers home, and that was the way she went, babe.
Yeah, less than 10.
Oh yeah, way less than
Yeah.
10. Just me, the kids, Jessica, and my parents.
Okay. Tom?
6 of us at my parents' house. Me, my fiance. No, 7. Me, my fiance, our son, my mom, my dad, my younger brother, and his girlfriend. This morning I went golfing. Hemlock Springs. Shout out to Hemlock Springs.
Mm-hmm.
They're really doing a great job with the COVID awareness and all the protocols in place. Shot the best round of my life today. It was fantastic. You know, golf any day I can golf is a good day, so that just made this day even better.
Right.
Hey guys, one thing real quick before you go. Nick Billman said, to quote the great RG3, "No pressure, no diamonds." To also quote the great RG3, "Ow, my ankle."
Yep.
That's Sun Gun.
So me on my end here, let's see. So, yeah, Brenton. I'm just reviewing everything. Make sure Brenton's got his old OG Bledsoe jersey. Big ups to Bledsoe. I always like Bledsoe. Yeah, Billman, the ankle, it ain't no good. Yeah,
That dude was a statue.
Yeah, my Easter, we actually didn't do anything. My wife has that autoimmune disorder, and it's just not worth it to us to run that risk. So we stayed home. Donnie says he ate out. I ate without my hearing aid, so nice and quiet and peaceful. God bless.
That's how you got to do it, baby. That's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. Take that hearing aid out. You just got to be Ray Charles.
Yeah.
No, he was blind. That was a horrible comparison. Sorry, I'm gonna stop.
So in closing of the that's bad. Anyways, in closing, we've been going at this for a little while, a lot longer than I thought. Me and Tom did an hour the other night. I think we're close to 2 hours now.
Get you some.
But we're gonna try to get on here probably, I would say, every other night, maybe 3 nights. I'm going to put a post up on mine, and I'll share it with Sammy to let you guys know when we're coming back on. Obviously, it works a little bit better off in the evenings for most, just because kids, family, friends, whatever it may be, able to put them to bed, except for my kid who's playing Xbox with my wife right now. So, but anywho, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Please share with your friends. I am going to be posting this up on YouTube, just a review, recap. It's been a lot of fun. And this, I found this BeLive.tv. This has worked out really good.
Yeah, good. Now that I get to work.
Really well, Ryan. That's the correct. That's the correct syntax for that.
Hey, go start an English teacher channel, and then we'll talk. So
Superman does good. We're doing well.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Whatever. So,
by the way, I just want to say, I was very hurt that Owen didn't invite me to an Xbox Live party today.
Yeah.
It's like every day, and today, for some reason, he decided to not invite me. So let him know that we have issues. We got to talk later.
For sure. I will let him know. So, this is the Tom and Ryan show at the moment, but we might be changing the name. You never know. We'll see if we can get Sammy committed. And then it might be the TRS show. Who knows? And we'll start getting all these initials or long names, But we'll be on. We'll be on in a couple days. Follow us. I don't know if we can make any money by doing this, but that'd be cool. I wouldn't be mad about it if we get enough likes. Don't forget, my wife sells the Skinny Brew. She wants me, big ups to that. Go Cleveland sports. Have your, hopefully a couple more days we'll have a little bit more opinions on the COVID-19. Maybe next time we go, we just do an hour on the COVID-19 in Ashtabula County.
I should probably say about my wife's nail business too. Otherwise, she'll get mad at me.
There you go.
It's Nailed It with Jessica. It's a Facebook page. She sells nails. So
yeah, we got to represent the wives. They only let us do that. Does Thom sell anything, or does Megan sell anything, Thom?
Megan's on a bit of a hiatus right now. She was doing vintage crafts and her designs. She's very talented at that. She's taking a bit of a hiatus with Wyatt right now being at home. He kind of demands all of her care. But my fiance is a fantastic lady, and I just want to thank her for letting me come up here and do this rather than being downstairs and watching the incomparable Katie Mixon and American Housewife right now. By the way, that's a great show. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
So, all right. Well, thank everyone who joined us. Jeremy, you're coming in at the end of the show. Thank you, though, for stopping in. Like I just said, just a quick recap. When we start this show, we like to talk about Ashtabula County with the COVID-19, what's going on specifically in Ashtabula County. Then we kind of move into a little bit of sports talk because that's what me, Sammy, and Tom all love. We're big Browns, Indians. We're all Cleveland sports fans.
Blackhawks, Chicago.
No one cares.
I will
Anyways,
say though that this is a very mild show compared to the debates that we normally have. Sammy's usually been screaming at me till he's red in the face at this point.
right.
I really like this because Sammy hasn't called me names yet, which is nice.
But yeah, so yeah, when you guys, like I said, I'll post it up when we're gonna get on again. It'll probably be about 9:00, 9:30 again, and sometimes we'll run half hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Just depends on what we get into. When I feel it's time to close, we close. So thanks again, everybody, for your time, your energy to hang out and listen to us. This will be on YouTube. We may be broadcasting next time from a YouTube live, and I'll figure that one out. Just trying to get some likes there. Likes and subscribes, because it'd be nice to subscribe and then everyone just gets it, and then they can log on when we're on. So this is Ryan signing off.
Sammy signing off.
Tom is out.
Yeah, so we'll call it TRS. I'll change it to Sam seems like he's in. So thanks again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Happy Easter.
You too, brother.
Happy Easter.